Every host brings their own unique questions, and they do get. I try to give something new whenever. So it's not the same old things I'm talking, even in your podcast.
Yes,
But
yes.
I
That
want,
because
want your podcast to have something unique, which is not there in other podcasts as well. We're making life easy for people so that they don't have to suffer for lack of knowledge. It's real knowledge is
so
only
let's say if I had to take the pick up the right purpose. So how would I do that? Like,
Namaskaram. Welcome to CLTV podcast. Today we have privilege of introducing a truly extraordinary guest, Guru Pashupati, also known as Ashiwn Chevaka. Guru Pashupati is a visionary leader, a spiritual guide, and a successful entrepreneur. Through this podcast, I got an opportunity to speak to him about various aspects. We have spoken about his journey, his ambitions, and understand his style of entrepreneurship. If you are into spirituality, if you like mysticism, and want to understand the inner essence of entrepreneurship, this podcast is for you. I hope you would like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening. Here you go, Sri Guru Pashupati ji, for you. Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Welcome to
Namaste.
CLTV podcast.
Thank you, thank you.
It's amazing to have you here on my podcast. Like it, I don't know. Like I should be really thankful to YouTube, I guess, because it introduced me to you, and thanks to you for accepting my invite to come and talk to us on CLTV podcast here.
My pleasure.
Wonderful, sir. So a little bit about CLTV. We are based in Canada, and mostly Telugu-speaking population is what I'm focused on. But then we conduct podcast in English at times for the comfort of audience and as well as guests. So do you know a bit of Telugu? I mean, if you know or no, I don't know.
Sorry, Ledu.
Okay, that's enough for me. At least some introduction. That's what amazing. So let's get into the podcast, sir. So,
Yeah.
sir, what inspired you to become a Guru Pashupati? You have given TED Talks, you've conducted corporate trainings and all. So, but then there you were Ashwin. Now you are Guru Pashupati. Like, I'm just trying to understand the
Well, then I was
transformation.
not a guru, so I hadn't been given shaktipath by my guru. So I had to continue with my name until he told me to change my name.
Oh, okay.
The reason we change our name is so that we can disassociate from the old lineage, the social lineage, and associate with the spiritual lineage.
So that kind of creates a completely new identity for you. Get rid of the old identity and adopt an identity which.
Yeah.
So do you mind taking us through a little bit more through that
Well,
lineage?
in the old entity, I was an entrepreneur and a very successful entrepreneur. I was also a scientist. I was also a martial artist. I mean, I still am. But that was all stuff I did for me. But now when you get a new name and the new identity, you live a life for others, which means you don't have any problems to solve in your life and you can help others with their problems. Those problems are how we get purpose. There's no other way. Problems are the only way for having purpose in this world.
Wonderful, sir. So, do you mind taking us through what your Guruji? Because I've seen in the website that Shankarnathji is 17,000 years old. This lineage, where you're coming out from. So, do you mind taking us a little
Yeah,
bit?
this lineage was started by Shankarnathji when he came around 17,000 years ago as Lakulesh. He took an avatar to teach. And that's when the yoga started to get documented. And in the lineage is, of course, Parvati, who also took human birth at that time. This was a previous yuga. 6,000 years ago, it was Dwapar Yuga. So 17,000 years ago, also Dwapar Yuga was going on. But it's preparation for this yuga called Kali. And only in Siddha Yoga can we offer some kind of solution for these afflictions that we have now in Kali Yuga, where human beings are mostly afflicted by dishonesty and confusion and lack of senses. They're not able to sense things properly. So they are full of doubts, samshaya. All this has been warned, and we've been told that this is what is going to happen. So a safe space from that is our akhada. Tilak akhada was made to keep you safe, just like Naimisharanya was made by the rishis. Tilak akhada is made for the non-rishis, for the siddhas, not for the rishis.
Wow. A lot of questions popping out right now. I wanted to learn more about the difference between Siddha and Rishi. I also wanted to know more about the types of yogas. But then I
Siddhas are
really,
human beings.
yeah.
Siddhas are human beings, while rishis are superhuman beings. They are directly born from Brahma. And so they went to Brahma and they asked Brahma, can you please make a place safe for us so we don't get affected by the weapons of Kali? And Brahma then just, from his chakras, there came out this big chakra called Nemi. And that Nemi went and fell around an aranya. And that's called Naimisharanya. And that aranya had an entry place for people, for the rishis, but it would not let Kali enter because it's spinning so fast. So none of Kali's energy or influence could enter inside this aranya. In a similar way, Shankarnath said, I'm going to protect people, but I'm going to protect them with knowledge. And that's how the Siddha path was founded. And he wanted to teach human beings because he had taken a human avatar. And so he taught some techniques to human beings, which were then passed on. And later it became many lineages, like the Nath lineage, Giri lineage, Jaipur lineage, Vajra lineage. So many kinds of lineages came about. And Siddha is basically the mother of everything that you see outside. Because the word Siddha means success. And he taught a way that we can get all the four things: Dharma, Arth, Kam, Moksha. All these four things. And Dharma means having a purpose and then knowing what's right and what's wrong for the purpose, knowing right from wrong. It's possible only when you have a purpose. If I don't have a purpose, then nothing is right and nothing is wrong. Everything is okay. Because how do you know whether something's right or wrong? Then you need morals. You don't have purpose, you need morals to navigate you. But when you have purpose, it is very clear which way you should turn. If you turn away from the purpose, then it's wrong. If you turn towards the purpose, it's right. So you should have a purpose that doesn't just involve you, it should involve other people. It's not all about you. It's not solopreneurship. You need to have a purpose that involves other people. Yeah. So that's dharma. Then there's artha. If you follow your purpose, you know what? You'll make a lot of money. If you create a purpose and you follow it, you will make a lot of money, and that's called artha. You have something called a cash flow. And you never have to worry for your food or your shelter or even for your social status. You don't have to worry about these things. They're all just taken care of. And then you have to learn kama, which is sexual worship. And if you get successful in that, it leads to moksha, which is being free from the cycle of birth and death, but while you're still in the body. That means you don't have to die. You don't have to die and you don't have to be born. You continue in the same body. That's what my guru has done. He's done it, and he's been alive now for 2,700 years. There are times he got bored, but he kept finding purpose through problems, and he kept getting excited by them. And so I'm just following his example.
Of course, yeah. So one of the major things which dragged me towards your videos on YouTube was Mahavatar Babaji, your Guruji. So tell us a little bit more about him, because one of the podcasts I've listened to, you mentioned that you actually touched him, his light body, and that's fantastic to listen. I mean, to know. Please take us a little bit about your experience about him. so that
I had the good fortune to live with Mahavatar Babaji. He's been my teacher since I was 12 years old. And now I'm almost 50 years old. So he's been my teacher for some 38 years. And he's been coming and going, and I've met him many times in person. I even met him in person when I went to the mountains this time. I went to a temple called Trilokinath, and he was there. And so he keeps showing up. He gives me a direction, uh, clears my confusions, and puts me on the path. What would you like to know about him?
a lot, like, because a person, he's certainly not human according to me. Like, I mean, at least
He's human.
he,
But
okay.
he's also an avatar of Kartik, Murugan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know about that.
He's taken human form to support the work of the Akhada. And
Okay.
he hasn't had a long learning curve. It's 2,700 years. He's had many kinds of students. Even Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba was a student. Jesus was a student. Kabir was a student. So he's been teaching for a long time now. He was also my teacher in a previous birth, which I'm not allowed to talk about. So I know him from a long time.
I'm spellbound. I don't know what I need to ask anymore. But then the very first time I have known about Babaji was to the movies, to be frank. Like, that's from the Rajinikanth
Baba
movie,
movie. Yeah.
Baba movie. So that fascinated me towards his character. And then when I get to meet spiritual leaders when I was in Chennai, I have met some spiritual leaders, and I've listened through them as well. So how was how do people get to interact with him? Like, let's say if I want to talk to him, how can I do that? Or
Oh,
am I supposed to be karmically good or
how will,
dharmically?
suppose you want to talk to Prime Minister Modi, what should you do?
Maybe I have to reach out to his office. That's what I'm
You need
doing
to have a
right
good
now.
reason. You need to have a good reason.
Oh,
Isn't it? When I was
correct.
teaching self-defense, I was trying to contact Kiran Bedi, but she didn't consider my reason good enough, so she refused to meet.
Okay.
I was trying to go to teach self-defense to women in Delhi, and I wanted the help of the police department, but she didn't feel that was important, so she didn't meet me. So you have to have something relevant, which is very important for Mahavatar Babaji. Then you'll be able to meet him and ask people, yeah, okay, you want to meet Babaji, why? Their why is very weak. There's nothing exciting about it. Why would Baba meet you? So you want to ask him something, uh, you can, and if it's relevant, he'll reply. You'll get an answer in your head. It's not that difficult for him to reply. But when he realizes there is just gas and you don't have any good reason to meet him at all, and you don't really care about his work and you don't want to know anything about him, and you don't want to help him in any way, then you call to him, he's not going to respond. Because yoga is symbiosis. It is you win and I also win. If you want to engage Mahavatar Babaji, you have to make him also win. I'm doing the work that he wanted me to do in exchange for the learnings he wanted him to give me. And I was made this offer because I had the potential to take that and make it happen. One of the works that came to me is that you know how Sanskrit died out? It's dead. So
Yeah,
people
I know.
cannot read and understand Sanskrit because the sandhis are too difficult. Let me explain what sandhis are. Sanskrit is a sandhya bhasha. That means it's full of sandhis. And the sandhis are like a twilight zone where it can be day also, it can be night also. Okay? The same word, like prana ayama. It can be prana plus yama, or it can be prana plus ayama. Because there is a dirgha a for both as a sandhi. Now you have to break it down. Is it prana plus yama? Is it the ending of prana? No. It is prana plus ayama, which means the cultivation of prana. Two opposite meanings, right? In one, the prana is increasing, in one is decreasing. So A lot of people have taken wrong meanings out of yoga because they were not yogis. They just took a guess. They're like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and picked one. And then it was wrong. So because it was wrong, the yoga that they were practicing was completely irrelevant. Unless there's a guru, you can't know these locks, right? It's like a combination lock. You need to know that 13, 8, 7, whatever. If you know the combination only, you can open the lock. So all the Sanskrit texts are locked up. And only a guru can open it. But we have never had the kind of communication that we have today. Look where you're sitting and look where I'm sitting. And here we are talking. It's amazing. And this is recorded. And then when you put it on YouTube, it's forever. So this kind of documentation power has never been there before. We can put things on the blockchain and they'll be there forever. I mean, not forever, as long as there are computers. Okay. So this is why from the palm leaf scriptures, first it was orally transmitted for 3 yugas. Nobody wrote down anything. In the end of, and the beginning of Kali Yuga, it was written down as the Vedas, and that's 6,000 years ago. It was written down as the Vedas and the Puranas and the Upanishads and all of the various Vedangas. Okay. So that's a big volume of books. You look at any other religion, they've got one book. Sikhism and, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. But Buddhism, of course, has many books. But still, it's nothing. It's no match to the kind of volume that was written by one man, Vyasa, and his team, of course, not alone. And for writing the Vedas, he had called Lord Ganesh only to write it because it's so complicated. So people can't even understand the Vedas. The same thing has happened with old Tamil. It's gone out of existence. So I want to be the Vyasa of the Kali Yuga where I can translate all of these into simple English. I've just started my work. Now I'm 50. I just started my work on this planet. But this will take me another 13, 14, 15 years. I don't know how long it'll take me. But I'm at it. I don't have anything else to do. This is what I'm doing. And in the meanwhile, I'm creating a forest of Siddhas to help me with this work. So that's really what we're going to do. So that people have real good knowledge and they don't get fooled by wrong gurus. They should have all the real knowledge for free. Then what are the gurus going to teach? They have to make sense. They have to take the student to the next level. They have to give them power. They have to give them knowledge. They have to give them purpose. If a guru can't give you any of these 3 things, then it's a shame. And so that's what we're doing now. We're making life easy for people so that they don't have to suffer for lack of knowledge. Its real knowledge is only in the Vedas. The rest of the knowledge, what we call science, is temporary knowledge. It keeps changing every day. But the Vedic knowledge doesn't change. This is eternal knowledge, Sanatan Dharma. So this is eternal knowledge that never changes. And if you know this knowledge, then you don't have to worry about anything. Because everything from how to get dharma, artha, kama, moksha, everything has been detailed. We don't need any other lessons. So that's why it's so massive. When they burnt Nalanda University, they said it burnt for like 6 weeks or something. I don't know. For a long time because there were that many books. But they burnt it all. Now they can't do that. If I put it all in English, nobody can burn it.
Knowledge is shared. So that's a
Yeah.
power which you're sharing. Before we get to the next question, so in order to meet Sri Mahavatar Babaji, I have to have the right question and the right intention. And if it happens, he will reach out to us, right? That's the conclusion.
Why not? Even Modi will reach out to you if you have the right reason. Well, and Mahavatar Babaji is like the king of kings, okay? He's like the emperor of 18 planets, including Earth. And he's
18
a
planets?
spiritual emperor. He's a spiritual emperor. So he's worried only about 3 things: Ichcha, Kriya, Jnana. He taught some Kriya to Lahiri Mahashaya. Nothing much happened out of it. People are practicing and they're not really getting anywhere because it's Kali Yuga. You can't just practice Kriyas and get away. You have to be sharp like a warrior. You have to be built like a warrior. You have to think like a warrior. And you have to build an army like a warrior. Then only you can do something in this world. So people have to learn that leadership. Only then they're going to go somewhere. If you just do Kriyas, nothing's going to happen. There has to be Jnana and there has to be Ichcha first. First Ichcha, then Kriya, then Jnana. First you make your purpose, then you take action on it. And when you take action on it, you'll get knowledge. You can't get knowledge about it and then take action. It doesn't work like that. So knowledge is the blessing given to people who take action.
So let's say if I had to take the pick up the right purpose, so how would I do that? Like, because
You
whatever
pick
I
up,
am taking,
pick up any problem, you have purpose immediately. Pick up a problem and care about it. When you start caring about it, automatically you got purpose. For
okay,
people who really care about themselves, they can find some problem in their life and make it their purpose. But for people who care about a problem that other people are facing, then, they got big purpose. Like I got purpose for the next 15 years. I hope it's 15 years. I hope it's not longer. But if it is longer, I don't mind. I don't mind putting in 25 years into what I've now decided to do. Because it's a big problem that I've identified in the world, that people are suffering because they don't have knowledge of the basic things of how to live a happy life and a healthy life. They don't know. They're not being taught by their education, and they paid lakhs of rupees for their education. Oh, there these educational institutions charge so much and then teach you trigonometry, which you're never going to use. What is the cheek of these people? It's too much.
trigonometry is one such example. Don't you think that creates an attitude within us? Let's say if I learn, I'll put forward my example. When I was doing engineering, I was a really bad student. I mean, but then the stress and the processes which I went through has developed an attitude within me, and that has enhanced my work style when I started working as a IT employee. So, so do you think education does that,
No, I
or
think
it's so?
education is completely irrelevant at this point in time because all that I got from education was knowledge and mathematics. Those are the two things I still use even today. And I would love to have had only those lessons and then not torture me for so many years. And I'm sure I could have learned this within the first 10 years of my life. I could have mastered language and arithmetic, no problem. And I'd still have a lot of free time to learn the things that I wanted to learn, like martial arts. Here I used to fit in 2 martial art classes between my school. And I said I'll quit school because it's interfering with my martial arts. So I quit school at the age of 12. I realized that I can hack the system. I just need to get attendance in the first period. After that, they're not bothered whether you're there or not. They don't care enough to know whether you're there or not. So I could easily slip out. When I started working, I became an entrepreneur. Why didn't they teach me how to make money?
That's the problem. No one
Why
does
would you
that.
have to even be an IT employee if they taught you how to make money? Why would you
Exactly.
have to be one among thousands of employees? You go to work, it feels like a tribe, but nobody really cares for each other. That's not a tribe. Your IT employee workforce is not your tribe. They're not going to stand behind you for anything, and you don't have autonomy, and you don't have entrepreneurship. So it's miserable the way companies are run, and companies need education to provide them with their bakras. Yeah, it's a sad truth.
So yeah, so because you've been an entrepreneur yourself, right? So how did you manage to become so successful? I'm sure you haven't followed any typical formula what you just mentioned. So
I just
take us through
invest
your
in
journey.
people. I invest in people and I give them empowerment. I give them knowledge and I give them empowerment and direction. And I tell them that now you're an entrepreneur. You're not my employee. So
Um,
people who work inside my company, everybody's an entrepreneur. And they realize that they don't need any other client other than me. So they're all working for me like that. And I'm giving them enough work. It just takes thought. People don't have 2 minutes to sit down at peace and think because they don't have peace. Their emotions are all over the place. They don't know how to control their emotions. Why school and college didn't teach you this? How to control your emotions. Such a basic lesson. It's not simple, but it's a basic lesson. If you don't know how to control your emotions, then you are going to make a mess of whatever you do. because the emotions play a role in everything. Everything. Can't even tie your shoelace if you don't have good emotions. That will also be bad. So why have we not emphasizing to teach kids? Now kids are emotionally out of control nowadays. They don't have good emotions. Like when I was a kid, we used to only feel happiness and joy. The only sad thing for us was going to school. Otherwise, the rest of the day we were outdoors playing, having fun. But kids today have apartments. They don't even have open spaces to go and play. And they don't know what to play. They don't know what to do with each other. They don't have adventures together with other kids. They don't read stories anymore. They don't have anyone to look up to. They don't have role models. So it's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Wow, that's so true. Like, how do you think the spiritual path would enhance our entrepreneur journey? Like, because the what you just said was amazing. You ensured that your employees don't feel as an employee but an entrepreneur themselves, and you being their client. That's a
Hmm.
very totally different outlook, right? Because then that gives them a purpose, because you are driving them through a purpose towards your purpose, and
Correct.
they feel they're working for themselves rather than working for you. That's
Yeah, and they have job
amazing.
security because, I'm not going to kick them out because they're doing a great job. They're doing it on their own terms. I'm not following up. Did you work today? Did you work 8 hours? You have to sit in my office. They sit in their house, they work, and they can't stop working because they love their work. I have to tell them to take a break. Otherwise,
Wow.
everybody's waiting like for Sunday, Saturday, Sunday so they can get drunk. None of my employees drink. They're not employees, they're entrepreneurs. So none of my entrepreneurs drink. They don't have this habit of wasting money eating outside on the weekend and swigging things and having a party and drinking and then just trying to recover from all the pain they went through from Monday to Friday, only to be greeted by Monday again. They're not happy. When happy people work together, they make a lot of beautiful things. When unhappy people work together, they make software with a lot of bugs. Then they call it agile method after that.
Agile, yeah, I agree with that kind of. So, so what would you suggest if, let's say, if I want to enter into entrepreneurship right now, what would you suggest I need to focus upon quickly?
It all begins, I have a channel called Shastra, where I'm one of the guests in that. It's done by my student Prathamesh, and we talk about how to be a creator yogi. The first episode is out. It's pretty fantastic, so you should watch it. I've outlined this process step by step, but
Okay.
in general, what it means, what you should be able to do, is to use your senses. If you're using all your senses, then you'll get the data about who needs your help and whom can you help, or where do you lack, or where should you start. Direction can be got when you use your senses, but people don't use their senses. They don't know what they're smelling, they don't know what they're seeing, they don't know what they're tasting, they don't know what they're hearing. So you need to know what your senses are. The senses that grow above you, that go outside, sorry, the senses that go outside are called sthula indriya. Then the ones that go inside, they're called the antar indriya, inside. And then there is sukshma indriya, which is a very secret practice which is taught by Vyas in response to one of the sutras of the Yoga Sutra. Vyas has written a documentary on the Yoga Sutra.
Oh,
So in that he describes how you should use your inside your tanmatra or sukshma indriya, how you should use it to reach a state of ekatattva. And in ekatattva, you have one goal, one purpose, and everything aligns to that. A yogi should have ekatattva. Everything is one. You shouldn't have like 10 goals. It's one thing properly. Everything aligned together to make you work on that. So that's when you put all your energy and focus it then things become easy for you. Because with the practice of yoga, you get abundant energy. What you need is senses, and what the senses run on is energy. If you don't have energy, you don't have subtle senses. You can't sense things like electromagnetic radiation. You can't sense things like spirits. You can't sense things like God. You just can't sense it. Then you'll say, I believe in God. You won't say, I know God. Because you can't sense it. Because you don't have the energy. Because you waste all your energy. Men waste their energy big time in ejaculation and pornography addiction. It's just normal nowadays. Okay? So men are so busy with their sexual urges. They don't understand that sexual energy is different from sexual urges. Sexual energy helps you to create. Sexual energy I cultivate. It's called virya. When you cultivate virya, you start to reverse age. Okay? Like I'm 50 years old, but I can do anything that a 25-year-old can do. And that's a rare occurrence in this country, at least. I know there are people who are fit outside India, but in India, everybody lets themselves go after some age and they just don't bother what they eat. They have no goals. They don't have a self-image that they want to become. They don't have this internal, like, I want to become like this. They don't have these goals. So they don't know who they are. They can't define themselves. They don't know where they are. They don't know with whom they are, what they're doing together. They don't have this clarity. So it's only through the practice of yoga that we can get there. And for anyone who wants to start, watch my newly released episode called How to Be a Creator Yogi. And it's on the channel called Shastra. That's pretty phenomenal for you to get your creation started, you know. It's time to be a creator and create something good.
Amazing, sir. So I'll put the link of the Shastra YouTube in the description so that people can subscribe and watch, and I'll also watch as well. I think I
Yeah.
did the other episodes, I guess, not this particular episode.
There's a thin guy called Prathamesh with a beard who was
Yeah.
interviewing me.
Oh, I think I did watch because I follow a lot. I subscribe to a lot of channels wherever you are there. So maybe I should have I should
That
have
guy,
watched.
he created a movie, and his first movie won Dada Saheb Phalke Award.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That I guess that is the most
Yeah, and he's
prestigious
also like
awards.
a very successful entrepreneur. He runs this brand, stevia brand, that helps with diabetics, you know, get sweet without sugar. So he runs that brand and he's very successful.
Having said that, sir, so because I see uh, having the purpose would lead us out to greater success, right? So what
Mm.
how would I achieve Aishwaryam or abundance in my life through the same
Other
procedures?
people, but with the help of other people. You can't do it alone.
Okay, okay,
There are so many parts to running a company. You need a HR, you need R&D, you need accounts, you need operations, you need manufacturing, production, and then you need uh, marketing and sales. Can one person do all this? No. People who call themselves solopreneurs are just fooling themselves. One person can't do all this work. So you need a team. You need to build a team. To build a team, you need a proper message. You need to have clarity and you need to be a great communicator. You need to learn how to make invitations to people, create a frame for them in which they fall in love with what you ask them to do, and then they'll come.
so I'm thinking and understanding what you just said because from all this, so basically you are sharing or you are making them adopt your purpose in a way, right? And because they have to work for you, and
I
then you.
see that this person has potential to contribute to my larger purpose by making something a component of that, his or her purpose. So I
Okay.
invited my student here to write books. So I saw that she has the talent that when I speak something, she's able to convert it into written material. So I said, that's fantastic. You come here, I'll tell you which videos specifically are required by the market to make books. I want you to write them. And then I have another student, and he's excellent at marketing. So I said, we need to market this book. And he's on it. He's excited. So he'll market it. My book is almost ready. So like that. And when we get into the right momentum, we can launch a book a month, one book a month. I just want to sell 10,000 copies of one book every month.
Wonderful. This is something until now I've learned a great deal of knowledge from this discussion so far. Excuse me. So the abundance comes to us, let's say, if again taking it back to the purpose, and then you make others share your purpose by making your purpose as their purpose as well, right? So you kind of do
They
this.
don't make your purpose their purpose. They take a component of your purpose and they make it
Okay,
that their purpose. Like the person writing books for me, her purpose is to write books. But for me, the larger purpose is to give knowledge to people.
correct,
So she's just there, and her purpose is to play her part as a writer, right? So
correct.
our purpose may not be the same, but it's all linked up. Just like parts of the body work, the purpose of the
Yes,
heart is to pump blood, the purpose of the liver is to clean the blood. But they have different purposes, but the main purpose is to keep you alive. So
yeah,
there are so many components of purpose which you will find out. When you get a big enough picture, you'll find that can be broken down into so many components of purpose, and you can invite one person who's appropriate for each of those components. So you have to think about it. People try to do 10 people's work, and then they burn out as entrepreneurs. It's crazy.
so true.
Procrastination happens because you're trying to do things that you don't want to do or you don't like to do. That's why you're procrastinating. There'll be so many things, that components of that purpose which you don't know how to fulfill. Instead of doing just what you know, you're trying to do now things that you're no good at. And then when you do that, you'll obviously get hesitation, you'll feel bored, you'll feel like, I can't do this. Because you're not meant to do that. Everybody's not meant to do anything. I'm not meant to do accounts. I can't do. Yeah. I'm always in the management part of the company, particularly in HR. That's my domain in my company. I take care of all the HR functions. I'm
So
also in L&D, like learning and development, which is part of HR. Since we're a knowledge company, that's also part of manufacturing. But I don't do operations, I don't do marketing, I don't do sales. I don't have to do any of those things.
do you think, like, okay, now I'll go a little tangential towards the metaphysical side of it. So do you think me being someone who is able to do whatever I'm doing, has it got anything to do with my past life, or my karma which I've accumulated? Because I'm talking to you right now, I feel it's a sukruta for me, to be frank. Like, because I gained that. So far we have spoken around 50 minutes, and I've got immense amount of knowledge which worth of years, to be frank. Because you kind of taking me and filling the blanks, whatever were there in the paragraphs which I had all through my life. So having said that, do you think my karma has pulled, not pulled is the wrong word. My karma has brought you into my life. And
Mm.
in the same way, does this happen at a miniature level, at the same time, macro level as well? So just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
understand the concept of karma and then
Yes.
linking it back to success.
The past life of a fruit is a seed.
Yeah,
Like, you should understand it like that. So yes, you've had a past life, and that's become a seed for this life, of which you're eating the fruits now. And then there'll be seeds inside these fruits, which you will eat fruits later. They grow up. So you should be careful what seeds you're planting today, because sometime in the future they'll become fruits. If you spent your whole afternoon being upset at someone, that's the seed you planted for today. How stupid. You're a farmer. You have to plant a particular kind of crop. But today you went and planted thorns. What the hell is wrong with you? How can you plant thorns on any single day? That means you don't have purpose as a farmer. You don't know what the hell you're growing. So karma is like that. Karma is just the seeds that we plant. What we're enjoying now is the fruits of the seeds we planted earlier. It's a pretty simple system.
So little bit deeper into it, like where did it all start and why did it start? It's a very
Not
old,
an
ancient
interesting
question.
question.
No, it's not. Okay.
Now, what will you do even if you know the answer?
Okay.
What do you hope to do? Gain some power? Like what's the objective? So that's what I'm saying. Purpose
Oh,
thinking
got it.
should be our goal, right? Thinking with purpose should be our goal. So I'm going to ask you to think with purpose. What is the purpose of knowing this? How is it going to change your life one way or the other? I can say it all came from Shiva, it all came from Shakti, it all came from Vishnu. You should see, Vyasa said all these things. He said it all came from Ganesha. In different Puranas, he's saying different things.
Yeah, he's the same guy,
Just to
right?
show you that
Same.
it's a
Yeah.
ridiculous question and it doesn't have any effect on what you're doing right now. But basically, what he says is there was a basic nothingness, and from that nothingness came some consciousness, and from that consciousness came Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh.
Okay.
And then, even the Shakti. Shakti is where everything came from. And Shakti and Shiva are said to be formless. Is this helping you in any way? Is my question. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see.
Knowing
Maybe.
this, if you read Ganpati, like Brahmanda Puran, which is about Lord Ganesh, and say Lord Ganesh is the creator of everything. If you read Vishnu Puran, it'll say Lord Vishnu is the creator of everything. If you read Shiva Puran, it'll say Lord Shiva is the creator of everything. Devi Puran, Devi is the creator of everything. Okay? So that's why, depending on what you want to do, you subscribe to one of these, depending on what you want to do. There are so many options for you to subscribe to for how the universe was created. And you'll behave differently. So it depends on your bhakti for which god. So you choose the god which you have bhakti and read their Puran. If you want to read Skanda Puran, you read Skanda Puran. And then you'll understand that that's considering him as the absolute creator.
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. So going back to the question of karma. So now I understand what the, ultimately it's all about the purpose, right? That's where I.
Purpose also depends on your timeline. How much past are you looking into? How much future are you looking into? I'm
Okay.
considering past of few yugas, like at least from this kalpa. Like the kalpa is the 4 yugas. So I'm looking at, and then within that kalpa, there are human beings come and go so many times, man. This is the 27th time in our kalpa that human beings have come and gone. And
Wow.
yeah, this
Come.
27 times human beings are coming again in this kalpa on this planet. So that's my history. I take one kalpa as one history. I find that okay. Most people have their history starting from, I don't know, 1980, 1990. That's where their history starts, because that's when they were born.
Correct.
So when you have large history, then you have large future also, and you can see things in advance. So you need to build this eagle eye vision. When you have eagle eye vision, then you can know. No, if you can't plan everything by standing on the ground level, you have to fly up and see it from the top. You need a bird's eye view of everything. Then you know how things are building.
Because that gives you a holistic picture. You also see the inlets and outlets and everything in one.
You
Like
can also, what is important and not important really changes its positions.
very true.
Things which you didn't consider important are now very important, and things which you considered important are now not at all important.
Very true. Very true. Wow. So taking it back to the karma, sir. So do you think, what I have, let's say, if I do, how should I put it? Let's say if my life is going in a wrong way, okay,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
because I'm driven by purposes which are thrown at me rather than I adopt them. That usually happens. Like either you are given a purpose by your parents, you are given a purpose by your guru, or not guru, the teacher. I mean, you are given a purpose by the YouTube video. We don't know.
Mm.
Suddenly, a film actor gives you a purpose, and you feel that's the purpose of your life, and you run after it, only to realize that you are falling
Mm.
into a pit.
Mm.
So, how do we understand the true purpose? So, how do you identify the right problem? Let me put it that way, because purpose comes from problem, right? So, how do I
There's
pick
no
up the
right or
right
wrong
problem?
problem. There's no right or wrong problem. Just pick one.
Any problem.
Any problem.
Okay.
Be in a category of one. Because I don't like to be in a category with many people competing. I like to be in a category of one. Every company that I started in a category of one. Nobody else can touch us because they can't do what we do. So we
What,
have to
what,
solve such a problem. We have to solve such a problem that
okay.
nobody has. It's uncharted territory. If you try getting in and being the second person and the also ran and all that, you will be plagued by competition. So don't go there. Look and feel very different from the others. You have to be in a category of one. You have to care about it, man. It's about aesthetics, okay? It's about you learning the arts. But people don't learn the arts of communication, of making videos, of lighting, of story, of visuals. They're not learning this art. They're learning some useless subjects in school. So it's an art. It's about how you present yourself. What you communicate is what people know about you. How else will they know about it? So communicate your good intentions, communicate your honesty, and people will recognize it. It may take a few years, but they'll recognize it. When they see things happening, when positive change is happening, when you get invited into very big platforms and rub shoulders with big people, then they'll know that, okay, this person is high quality. Then even with people who are not your customers will start talking about you. It comes to that reputation. Reputation is everything. You can't spoil your reputation. It's all under your control. There's nothing to be afraid of. Others can't spoil your reputation. It's how you behave that determines your reputation. Others have zero power in spoiling your reputation. Because even if you try to make some scandal or whatever on you, it's a short-lived and temporary. People will see the truth after some time. So it's your time space. I mean, it's your time chunk that you're looking at. People are seeing something as a setback and a failure and an absolute rejection. But they don't know what the future holds. They give up in too short time. You know why? Because they don't have health. They don't have basic knowledge of health. They don't know how to repair their body faster than it damages. This is called yoga. You have to learn yoga first. Before you do anything in this world successfully, you have to be a Siddha. Then you can do things successfully. You have to know how to repair your body faster than it damages every day. Then you have time. Otherwise, you don't have time. It's a matter of time before you get some serious disease and die. So the first problem to solve is your own mortality. You have to solve that first. Only then you can have sustainable purpose. And if you're anyway going to die, what's the purpose of doing anything? You have to learn to repair yourself faster than you damage yourself. Then you'll get enthusiastic to do something which will take 50 years to achieve. But otherwise, you'll be like, yeah, okay, 5 year, 10 year, then I want to retire and I want to spend the last 20 years of my life relaxing on a beach. You really think you can relax on a beach if you know that it's the last 20 years of your life? You can't relax on that very beach. All you can do is get drunk and forget about it.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So people should take immortality seriously. They shouldn't laugh at it. If you laugh at immortality, you're going to die. It's a matter of life and death. Learn it from the immortal Siddhas. That's why you learn Siddha Yoga from.
Oh. So do you offer online classes for people
Yeah.
who are not in India?
Yeah.
So the website is chamundigurkulam.in, right?
Okay, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
We are offering more and more programs. Now we just started with something basic. I started last November, man. Last November, I
Oh,
had 2,000 followers. And now we have 1 lakh followers on YouTube. It's not an easy thing.
it, it is not for sure.
Mm.
So, and I was, and whenever I listen to you, through YouTube, I've listened to multiple videos, and because most of things I'm asking, you've already answered them. But the reason why I'm asking is for sake of my listeners, because and also I'm trying to go little bit tangential, like because I have more deeper questions, but
True, true. I mean, every host brings their own unique questions, and they do get. I try to give something new whenever. So it's not the same old things I'm talking, even in your podcast.
yes,
I
yes, that
want,
because
I want your podcast to have something unique, which is not there in other podcasts as well.
wow. Thank you for making me part of you, making me a very tiny part of your creative purpose. So that matters a lot to me. So before we go towards the end of this session, because you've given me 1 hour already, so I just want to get 5 thumb rules from you.
Mm,
5 thumb rules or 5 basic principles
mm,
uh, through which I can achieve any of my ambitions, which are
mm,
positive or create
mm.
a greater impact to me as well as the society around me.
Yeah, everything starts with total self-honesty.
Self-honesty. Okay.
Yes, you have to be totally honest to yourself about everything. And then when you have total self-honesty, you will get clarity of problems in your life. You'll know what the problems are and you'll be able to name it without getting scared. Then the third step is to build a team. You cannot solve these problems alone. So you have to build a team. And for that, you have to become a leader. You have to become a new person. You have to become a Veera, a warrior. So build yourself into a Veera and invite other people. Invite other people is the fourth step. And fifth step is just let the process happen. Have patience. These are the 5 steps we should follow. Self-honesty, clarity of problems, transformation into a leader, invitation of others, and then finally, having patience to let the process work. Let other people do what they're really expert at. You don't go and interfere. I never ask my entrepreneurs like, how you spent your day. I'm not interested. I just want to know when's the next shoot. Because that's all I do. I go and shoot. So I have my shooting schedule and I just go shoot. That's all I have to do. It's not that hectic also. But I do answer questions from my students. So that can sometimes get hectic. Especially if Guru Purnima comes, I took 3 days to just reply to all my students for their Guru Purnima wishes. So that gets hectic only during that time of the year, but the rest of the year is not very hectic. I work 1 hour a day with my students, answering their questions, and most of the questions have already been answered. I just have to share a link, and yeah, man, my YouTube has become like a, a search engine for problems. You can write your problem, money plus Guru Pashupati, and you'll find the answers for money.
I got it just yeah,
Yeah.
because that's where the host, when I responded, commented, how do I invite Guruji onto my podcast? She responded that please text him onto Instagram. Then he will their team or will reach out to
I
you.
took my WhatsApp out. I don't have WhatsApp now. Because
Okay.
people bothering me, man. They're just like not learning anything, don't want to learn. They don't have self-honesty. How can I help them? They don't have the first step. So when people are not being honest to themselves, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this person. So I said, let me get rid of WhatsApp fully. There was a time I was putting my WhatsApp number around, please contact me. There was a time.
Eh,
But now I don't have to do that. Because I just decided I'll put everything out for free. Like whatever people are crying about, I'll answer the question. And I did that. And now you can use YouTube as a search. You can find anything. Health plus Guru Pashupati, you'll find it. Relationships, Guru Pashupati, find it. Communications, you'll find it. Yoga also, you'll find it. I'm talking about the Yoga Sutra. Nobody's talking about the Yoga Sutra. because you don't know it, because you don't know the Sandhya Bhasha of Sanskrit.
Yes, I've seen the recent video Yoga Sutra commentary. I mean, sorry, the commentary of you on Patanjali Yoga Sutras,
Mm-hmm.
and the way uh, you also touched mystic aspects like he being the uh, Adishesha and how the things are working out. I'll mention all those channels in my description so that people reach out because they
To be
have to go
honest, I
through
don't
this
know how many
country.
channels I have, whether it's at 9 or 10. I don't know.
I'll try to find whatever I can. I'll
I have
just
to
put down.
count myself.
Amazing, amazing, sir.
There's another called Life-Changing Manifestation also, where I've spoken about all these things.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. Life-changing manifestation and Devi Bhagavatam as well. So
Devi
there.
Bhagavad, such an important one. Yeah. So I'm
Well,
not putting out knowledge out there at the pace at which people can swallow it. You can't keep up with my podcast. I make 8 or 9 podcasts in a week. So you just can't keep up. But whatever you want, you can use it later as Google search when you really want it, Go to YouTube and use it as a search engine. And you can find all the information. As long as you write Guru Pashupati in the search and your problem, you'll find something. How to fix your eyes. You'll find something.
because Siddha Yoga is about everything, like holistic.
It's not about everything, but I have to do this. I'm doing it as a service for people. It's not Siddha Yoga. I'm just giving them some simple upayas because I'm a guru and I'm an adhikari, parampara adhikari of my akhada.
Okay.
So I get to create techniques for people on demand. I have the permission to do that from my akhada, the authority. So the stuff that I give you will work, whatever it is. So I just listen to people's crying and then I make. I've created a solution called the frame. There's no problem that can't be solved when you have the right frame. For example, this lady called me today and she said that my son is very depressed and I don't know what to do. I said, you have the wrong frame. You're a helpless mother. And your son is saying, I want to kill myself. And he's saying things like, why did you give birth to me? So she's feeling guilty. She's feeling depressed. She's feeling sad. She feels rejected. She's feeling all those things. I said, you're just a victim at this frame. Why don't you change it to I am a Devi who's going to find out the root cause of depression and get rid of it from this country? Why are you not that person? If you become that person, then once you find the root of it, you'll find it. Why are you thinking like an ordinary human being? Think like a goddess, I told her. Change the frame for her. And she was laughing also at the end of it. Same person who was crying started laughing because the frame changed.
Wow.
Who we are is very important. When you can look at our behavior and see how small we have made ourselves. Don't be that small. I feel I'm divine, man. That's what I feel. I want to think like a god. I don't want to think like a human. Humans are full of flaws and crying. That's all. I don't cry. Both my parents died. I didn't cry
Oh, sorry to know that.
because I know what to do. I knew how to take them across, even their souls. I knew how to take them across from the Vaitharni and get them back into the world of the living. And I did it. And so there was nothing for me. I have the frame that I'm a Kal Guru. I can actually do this. I can take people across the Vaitharni river. So when you have a divine frame and abilities, then you don't have to worry. So I told her, be a Devi. And she could feel that. Yes, I should not be like this victim. I need to empower myself in this situation. And I told her what to do. I said the rest is a matter of communication. I gave her the solution. I didn't leave her like that. Yeah. But I'm going to do this now. I've taken up a new project. I put everything aside and I've taken up a new project. And I've told people to give me their list of unsolvable problems. My students, I have about 1,000 students. I've asked them to give me a list of unsolvable problems in their life. I will get at least 100 and 150 responses for that. I'm going to take them and reframe them and teach people how to reframe. So I think frame is the only thing people need to learn right now. So they can get out of their misery and be somebody they can respect.
Beautiful. Frame and purpose are the ones which leads us to the Ananda, I guess. Amazing.
Do anything. There's nothing
Anything.
someone with a purpose can't do. Hyun Sang was my inspiration. He went at least 9, 10 times to China, taking all the Buddhist textbooks, and he got plundered. You know how long it took him to capture those books? He came back again and again. He wrote all translations of all those books again in Chinese, and again he carried them. He got. He thought he'll take another route. There won't be any dacoits. They were looking for money, but he didn't have any money, so they got angry and burnt the books. This happened
Oh,
9 times. Then he finally found a way. There are no dacoits. The 10th time, that's how Buddhism went to China.
wow. I
So
never know this.
I'm saying this is the kind of persistence that we need. You know how many years that took him? 15, 20 years. People do long-term projects, you know, they win. So, I was so proud of the work I've done when I was a young man. Then my aunt came and said, this guy, let me show you the newspaper, what people are doing. That time we didn't have internet. And she showed me how she showed me about the Magsaysay Award winners and their story and how long they worked to get that Magsaysay Award. What is that massive amount of work that they've done? And I said, okay, aunt, I'm going to do this kind of massive work. My aunt is also no more, but I still remember her words. And I think, let's do something big. Why should we do something small that's going to be forgotten tomorrow? Who do we want to prove to? Some small people? We want to prove how big we are in front of them. Well, it's not about proving your size. It's about achieving something big. You don't need to prove anything to anyone.
Wow. Amazing, sir. Wow. It was amazing talking to you because I feel as if I've bathed in um, a very, what should I say, river Ganges or something like that because uh, it feels so refreshing. Lot of questions, lot of blanks which were there in the paragraphs which I created all through my life. Like some of them got certainly filled up, like because the idea of the purpose and the frame, this kind of gives me overall clarity and looking things like a bird helps me out creating a better life. I hope people who listen to this podcast would be changed as I am as well, and they get to learn a lot. I mean, first, certainly I've learned a lot from this podcast for sure. I hope people do
I really
as
hope
well.
this podcast goes viral and it gets you the success that you need and also helps
Thank you.
educate people with what they need to do. Yeah, may it reach more and more people. Shiva bless us both.
Oh, you bless me, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Right.